This is the Nations Conspire channel. Welcome to today's show. The fires in Los Angeles are starting to finally wrap up, at least so we're told. The headlines on the mainstream websites like CNN are no longer featuring stories about the fires continuing to swirl and spread. And while this is happening, of course, we know they're moving forward with rebuilding Los Angeles. But you're very likely to hear the real culprit, of course, of the fires, because they're never going to tell you who's responsible for it. Just like the hurricanes that wiped out so many people in the Carolinas and Florida, and all the hurricanes and other things we've heard over the years, they just quietly disappear into the night. And the LA story will quietly disappear after, of course, they attach some type of psyop to it, which will likely be the climate or an arsonist. But we all know the real culprit. Your own government, who used smart meter technology and directed energy frequencies sent to these homes, which ignited them, which of course is why you see so many clips on the news of home after home after home burnt down, with trees still up. Yet then there's a few homes mixed in the middle that didn't catch fire. And you look at the home and you say, what is this home? Made of brick or stone? Was it fire resistant? Wait, it looks like it's actually made with stucco. Wouldn't that catch fire just as fast as the other homes caught fire? Well, you won't get an explanation for that because they'll cut away from the shot of the houses that are still standing, because eventually those houses won't be standing because the government will come in and deem that it's not livable there anymore and say that because of all the other houses around the ones that survive, your house now has to be bulldozed to the ground because it's not a safe place to be. Here's 10 cents on the dollar for what's left of your home, and sayonara, because that's what will happen to the homes that are left standing. So if you actually search right now, if you actually, because what I do a lot of the times I see is what are they talking about, obviously, because whatever they're talking about, they're either going to disinfo it away, which means people have caught on to what's going on, and then they need to put propaganda out there, misinformation, to make people think that it's a conspiracy theory, right? For example, the pizza parlor in Washington, D.C. When that stuff happened, every single mainstream media had to come out and use lines like, oh, they're doing that in a pizzeria and, in a pizza parlor, Mario, making a big joke about it, making people think that it was like a local pizza parlor in their town and it was happening in the basement of their pizza place, right? And of course, that type of psychosis that they create makes people automatically reject the things that people were exposing at the time, making it seem like it was crazy, making it seem laughable. Well, in the case of the smart meters, if you look it up right now, you won't see anything out there about the smart meters talking about the potential of them being the culprit of these fires. The only thing out there is a Daily Mail article that talks about some of the crazy conspiracies swirling around the LA fires, linking things like the smart meter theory to things like a cover-up for P. Diddy. For the people out there who think it's a cover-up for P. Diddy, you're at level 0 of waking up to what's really going on. The government-fed conspiracy. Government-fed conspiracy. They tell you those things to get you trapped in those rabbit holes. And then you think that they're burning down the evidence around Los Angeles. But you don't realize that all of the stuff that occurs happens underground. There are underground cities underneath cities. There are underground cities underneath vacant areas. There is an entire underground underneath us where all this stuff occurs. So they would not need to burn evidence on the surface level. Just like that guy's island, how conveniently it was shown us in the news. Like all of a sudden it was just there. This huge temple with blue and white stripes sitting out in the middle of an island, right? As if nobody noticed it before. Now all of a sudden people are noticing. Can you believe it? That's where they went, right? Oh yes, they went to this little minuscule island over there when all they need to do is go underground. And there's never any evidence, there's never any attachment. You would never know about any of it unless they wanted you to know. And of course, they wanted you to know about that because they wanted you to take your attention away from things like the things that were occurring at that pizza place. They're called government-fed conspiracy. So the only thing that was out there that was talking about smart meters was something that was trying to dispel conspiracy theories surrounding the actual fires. And the only thing out there other than that are stories about how thousands of Brits could be forced to have smart meters put on their home. And even some stories from the UK talking about millions of households are at risk of smart meter snooping. Well, it's about time that some people at least start figuring out about smart meter snooping and what it actually is. But I think it's about time we learn all the facets of what these smart meters are capable of doing. And I've exposed this going on 10 years now, but I'll continue to expose it for anyone out there. And at the very least, people out there should know the staggering amount of radiation that comes out of those smart meters are enough to cause very, very, very harmful things to occur to your body and your mind as well. But here's a news clip for anyone out there, because I got so many comments from so many zombies, which is good that some zombies stumbled upon the video. But like I mentioned in a previous video, some of these zombies are, you go to their page, they're into tech. They're just major clueless zombies walking around the earth obliviously, ready to just walk off a cliff into the pits of hell. And they'll probably smile while they're, falling in the air as long as their phone is in their hand. But these people think that any theory about smart meters being able to catch fire from electromagnetic pulses being sent to these things are conspiracies. Well, here's a great news clip to share with those people about how meters were blown off of people's homes, how this neighborhood got a power surge sent to their smart meters, and they all caught fire at once. But don't be suspicious, it's just a conspiracy.
They've never seen anything like it. In fact, some said it was like a war zone after dozens of electric meters on their homes started exploding. Jolie Winaga is live now in Sherwood, where that surge caused a massive power outage.
Some 25 of these electric meters that were scorched, they were burned. This one replaced just this afternoon. But again, 25 of these were burned during a power surge. As a result, neighbors here in Sherwood say that PGE has some explaining to do.
Oh, my God. Oh, hang on.
I thought the house blew up, so we were scared.
Explosion after explosion. A power surge causing electrical meters on homes and businesses to burn.
The lights got really bright. It was almost blinding, and then it sounded like the side of my garage had blown off.
Oh, lights just started flickering and then went out for a second, and then came back on, and then sparks flew out of the outlet, and then it was off for the rest of the day.
More than 24 neighbors had the same thing happen within seconds of each other Wednesday afternoon. Sparks flying from these meters, smoke billowing. The outage shut down traffic lights on busy Highway 99W, causing this miles-long backup during the evening commute, and businesses had to close early.
We heard this horrific boom, like a firework from the 4th of July, and this bright light.
PGE tonight blames a tree that fell onto some high-voltage power lines for that surge that took out not only these electric meters, but caused 15,000 customers in Washington County to lose power.
But a lot of folks without power, and a lot of work ahead for PGE crews who will have to make sure that all these homes are safe before they re-energize the area.
PGE says today's power surge is rare, but neighbors want answers. If another tree falls on power lines in the future, are they and their homes in further danger?
Yeah, because that's perfectly normal, right? You'd like to slap some of these on your home because the government tells you that they're safe, and don't worry that they're catching fire. It has something to do with the power lines. You gotta love how they spin these things, and people just take whatever they spin as the reason for it, and then they regurgitate it. Oh, the power lines. A tree fell on the power lines. And because a tree fell on the power lines, all of a sudden everybody's smart meters started catching fire. I mean, if you believe that, obviously you're the same person who's in their 40s who puts a tooth under their pillow and expects the tooth fairy to show up. And when there's a $5 bill under their pillow, they don't realize it was their mom or their dad who put it there in the first place. Because we know there's still people in their 40s who are probably doing that. We live amongst them, right? So the stories out there now about the smart meter are not about the dangers of the smart meters being able to catch fire. The only thing you'll see is stories now talking about how millions of households are at risk from spying. But that's not even the real truth behind it. Because what they're telling you, and they want you to focus on, is something that would make people go, well, it's not a big deal. But it is. All of it is a big deal, including how they're going to monitor and track how much electricity you use with every single device. And people go, well, what's the difference? They already monitor my electricity, right? Yeah, well, guess what? With a smart meter, they're going to monitor it to every single movement you make, whether you're in your home or you're not, what you're doing in your home. Here's a clip you can look at and listen to the horrors for yourself.
We are now entering the brave new world of smart meters. Smart meters are watching you. They see when you turn something on or off. They see how many watts your electric toothbrush pulls. They send the record of that little event over wireless networks, bouncing through your neighbor's smart meters all the way to the power company, where they keep record of all your electric consumption volumes and patterns every minute of every day and store that data forever on computers that you'll never get to see. That data shows when you are at home, shows when you're sleeping, shows when you're on vacation, when you have visitors, when you use a lamp, a power tool, some extra computers, and if you look like you're running a business out of your home. It even senses when you bootleg energy off the grid. Your smart meter data shows a vivid profile of your personal living patterns and whether or not you were at home on the night of the murder. This is not electrical metering. This is personal surveillance. This is a search without a warrant every day. This is your personal private life going straight out through your electric meter to the power company, to the government, to the police, to the insurance company, to anyone who cuts a deal with your power company to look at your life under a microscope. Sorry, it's actually worse than that. People who don't cut a deal can get your information too by simply intercepting the wireless signal spewing from the side of your house. Yes, smart meters are radio transmitters.
So it's even deeper than that. It's even deeper than that. For anyone out there that's okay with that, with the government knowing how often you turn this appliance on or that appliance, and you don't realize that the government's going to actually turn off your appliances because you're going to have an allowance. You're going to be allowed to use X amount of electricity a month. And you're going to learn real fast how much you can and can't use. You hear that now and you go, I don't know. What are they going to make me turn off for an hour a month? How about have it on for an hour a day, if that? Right? Think you're going to have a fridge and all this other stuff still? Think again. You are going to be treated like a prisoner. Do prisoners have refrigerators in their cells? No, they don't. You're going to be lucky if they let you shower once a week. So this is about more than just that. Because, again, the common person will hear that and they'll go, that's never going to happen, right? But they don't even realize that the Wi-Fi routers in their homes can actually see you through the walls, right? The Wi-Fi routers in your home. And people think that that's a conspiracy. And even our friend, the Google artificial intelligence that we now have when we search stuff, right? Even the Google friends, the Google demon, the Google AI will tell you that Wi-Fi routers can see through your walls. In fact, even the Associated Press a decade ago showed us this. And this is, a decade ago. Think of how much more they can do now and how much they can do with those smart meters slapped on the side of your home.
X-ray vision is becoming a reality, thanks to researchers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Graduate students have developed software that uses Wi-Fi signals to recognize silhouettes behind walls.
And it turned out that, we were able to detect that. And then as we discovered that we can detect it, then we started asking even more advanced questions. Can we use it to detect exactly how people are moving in the space, even if they are behind a wall or occluded?
To see movement in real time, a more primitive method is used. A simple red ball tracks this student as he makes his way through the room and takes a seat. Elevation data of a tracked object can show when a person has taken a fall.
This is his elevation across time. So when he falls, we see that there's a sharp change in elevation, and then we see that his location is on the ground.
Researchers say the technology will help healthcare providers and families keep closer tabs on the young or the elderly.
This is a device that basically tracks people through wireless signals. It can do so in a variety of ways, from motion to identifying who a person is based on the shape of their skeleton, as well as measuring their breathing and heart rate.
Can you hold your breath? He inhaled a lot, so it went up, and then it's constant, you see? So, which means because she's not holding her breath, and her heart rate is pretty high. I think she has already took off.
They also say the technology has uses for law enforcement as well as the military.
In case of hostage, for example, you don't want to send the police inside without knowing where the people are standing or where the hostages are, if there's somebody with a gun, where they are standing.
So obviously the way they word these things makes the sheeple out there think that these are all beneficial, right? Oh, these could be benefits for the military. Oh, the police there could be a hostage situation. So they can use this to be able to see inside of the home through the walls where the hostage is. Huh? I mean, what is the percentage of that? But the sheeple don't think like that. So they'll give up all their rights in the event that maybe 1 out of every 500 million people in the United States ends up in a hostage situation. I mean, when's the last time we've ever even heard of a hostage situation occurring in North America or any other country, really? I mean, it's a pretty rare thing. I mean, kidnappings and stuff do happen, but the way they word that is just hilarious. Well, a hostage situation, the police and the government are going to need to be able to see inside the home. Oh, okay, so let's allow the Wi-Fi routers in our homes or the smart meters on our house to be able to track us around our homes 24/7 in case, of course, one of us ends up getting kidnapped and put in a hostage situation like we're in the movie The Negotiator. Obviously, it's all utter ridiculousness. And it's ridiculous that people out there would actually defend these smart meters, that think that these things are not ticking time bombs. But I guess these are the same people that are okay driving around in their EV vehicles, which when the temperature's below 20 degrees, don't start and conk out. Their EV vehicles, which when get wet, can combust, or their EV vehicles, which when are plugged in their garage, in their homes at night, sometimes cause their homes to catch fire, right? You see how this works? This is how they want you to live. People are slapping dynamite on the side of their homes. They wouldn't be able to do what they're doing if people weren't complying to all this stuff. It starts and ends with the tech. Go back to the stuff I've said about the phone over the year. You want to talk about the mark of the beast? You want to talk about digital enslavement? You want to talk about losing your freedoms? Do you think they would be able to do any of this stuff if it wasn't for tech? No, they wouldn't. Go back to the outbreak. Remember all the memes? If you didn't see some of the memes that were out there during the outbreak that occurred, everyone was locked up in their home. You know who wasn't? The Amish. Why weren't the Amish afraid? Well, the Amish don't watch TV. The Amish don't have phones. They don't know that it even exists in the first place because the psychosis wasn't implanted in their minds. So they went about their lives every single day the same exact way. So the technology got control of your mind. And then what did they do with the tech? They enslaved you with it. They said, okay, now that we got you to fall for the psychosis, next up, you got to have contact tracing. We're going to monitor you where you go. And everyone went, oh, wow, that's interesting, right? But if you had your phone, you think they'd be able to do that? No. So they've gotten you so dependent, so obsessed with the tech, with the phones, with all the other fancy things that make things a little bit more convenient, which of course are all in the name of convenience to enslave you. They got you a little bit more into all of it, right? Little by little by little by little. And people just love it. They embrace it. And they don't realize that now they have full control. And the only way to escape this is by escaping technology. But instead, what are we doing? We're moving more towards it. That's what Trump's job is here. That's why Elon Musk is lumped with Trump, to bring in AI governance, to move forward with it, to tell you that threats of Russia and China, we got to beat them to 6G, to 7G. We got to go faster. We got to get more tech. Otherwise, they'll be sophisticated and we'll be living in the caves, right? Like the cavemen lived, right? Yeah, better off living that way than the way we're living now. Mental health? Well, it's a psychosis created by these same psychopaths who are using directed energy weapons and frequencies to burn your homes to the ground. And they don't want to tell you that, well, how are they doing it? Are they putting people with blue roofs? They don't want you to know. They can just send the pulse right to those smart meters and ignite your home in a millisecond. But again, you won't hear anybody talking about it. But the dangers look at the pros and cons. What is the pro of you having a smart meter on your home? You want to tell me? Anyone out there? Is the pro that you don't want to pay $30 a month for someone to come and check out your meter? Well, look at it this way. You're helping some guy continue to have a job by not having the smart meter on your home, because that guy will likely lose his job. So look at it as you're doing your due diligence as a citizen to help another citizen put food on his family's table, right? But really, what are the pros? Nobody can tell you the pros of this crap at all, because there are no pros. So why bother? Why would you go along with this? Now, I know there's people out there that can't get these things off of their homes. They claim that they can't, but you're not pushing these people hard enough. You need to push them and tell them, you're sick. You know, you're going to the doctor. You're having radiation exposure. Your wife's pregnant. Anything you could think of to get it off your home. And I don't care if people out there say it's paranoia. At the very least, nobody can deny the frequencies with an EMF. Go get an EMF reader and read the frequencies coming off that. You might as, if I told you to put your head in the microwave, you'd be like, what are you, nuts? I'm not putting my head in the microwave. Oh, okay. Well, if you were getting similar frequencies coming off of one of these meters, and you knew what an EMF was, you'd say, wait a minute, so that's like comparing to a microwave? Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Do you want those going to your brain all day? You wonder why you're depressed? You wonder why you're having headaches all the time and you're tired all the time and you're getting other diseases all the time? Yeah, well, because you're allowing them to continue to kill you off with radiation exposure. This is what we're living in, folks. This is what we're living in. They're slapping these things on your home. Nobody out there is talking about the smart meter. Barely anyone is. I mean, I'm sure there's people that you listen to talking about the smart meters because you're awake, but the sheeple out there, they don't even have the slightest clue. The slightest clue. And this has been going on for a decade now. I've been talking about it for a decade. These home explosions like in Pennsylvania, they come out and they tell you there's a coal mine underneath the home, right? Oh, there's a coal mine, so the house exploded. Gotcha. Okay, I'll take that as, right. Oh, sure. Right? Oops, the smart meter got too hot. They sent a frequency to it, etc., and it blew up. Right. Nothing to see here, folks. Just the government killing you off with smart meters and burning your homes and your lives to the ground. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families, as always.